Hello everybody, this is Graeme Anderson, and today I'm going to be looking at Rest in Peace. Now if you've seen my reviews before, you might know that I like horror or spooky style of games. This one is definitely on the light side of that, as in this two-player game, each player takes on the role of one of two families. And these families have hated each other for centuries. You're now sending out your ghost family to scare away people who are getting too close to the mansions so you can claim those buildings for your own lineage and become more prestigious. Now the game is played over a maximum of 10 rounds, but can end sooner if one side achieves victory. The gameplay is nice and simple. On your turn you can play as many cards as you want to the current round, including 0. Then if your side is still lower than your opponent, you've lost the round. They take the mansion token, but you get the psychic card. And these cards can be pretty powerful when used at the right time, of course. So, will this game become a solid part of your collection, or should you just let it fade off into the ether? Let's get it to the table, see how it's played, and I'll come back with my final thoughts on Rest in Peace. So this is Rest in Peace set up. Place the special Psychic card in the 10th position. This card is going to be used in every game. Then shuffle the rest of the Psychic cards and draw 9. For this overview, I've just picked the first 9 cards. The rest of the Psychic cards are put back into the box. Shuffle the 10 Mansion tokens and place one face up on each of the Psychic cards. Each player shuffles their set of cards, green or blue. Now each deck is identical and is composed of 1 card of value 6, 2 of value 5, 3 of value 4, etc. Each player then draws 5 cards. The goal of the game is to be the first person to collect either 4 Manor tokens or 3 Castle tokens. You'll be playing a maximum of 10 rounds, where each round is fighting over the next token. The player who wins the round, of course, wins the token. So the first round is fighting over the first token. When someone has won that, then the next round will be fighting over the next token until the victory conditions have been met. Now during your turn in a round, you play as many cards as you want from your hand, including playing none at all. All the cards you play are faced up and fanned out so both players can see them. When you're done playing your cards, then either the total on your side of the token is higher than the other side, in which case play passes to the other player, or your side is not higher, in which case you have lost the round and the current round is over. At the end of the round, the player who lost the round gets to keep the Psychic card. The player who won the round gets the Mansion token. Both players then draw 2 cards back into their hand, and the cards previously played are left there face up. You will not be able to play these cards again, and they're there for both players to reference. The player who lost the round can then play a ghost card face down or Psychic card from their hand onto the 10th round. And the player who won the round will start playing first on the next round. And a player immediately wins if they have 4 Manor tokens or 3 Castle tokens. If neither player has won by the 10th round, then you reveal all the cards that were previously played there, and the highest value wins the token. If there's still no winner, then the player who won the 10th round is the winner. If it was a tie, then the player with the most Mansion tokens is the winner. And that's how you play. Let's get back to see what I thought about Rest in Peace. So, theme and components. The theme in this light little game is pretty much non-existent, but honestly, from a game this size, I wasn't really expecting much. Now I do like that they tried to bring in some of the theme through the art on the cards and some of the names of the cards, but the actual gameplay, there's not too much theme there. So let's go on to the components. Again, there's not much here, but I really did like them. Now I am not a huge fan of these small cards, but I guess to keep this a small game, small footprint, these are a must. But I really like the art on this card. They remind me of like a Disney's Haunted Mansions ride, you know, that kind of that whimsical, spooky look. And the 2 decks have different pictures. I was amused by these. The game does come with a player aid card, which can be useful, but I just found it actually more useful to look up the rules in the actual rulebook itself, because they're all listed at the back. The cardboard components were nice and easily distinguishable from each other. So overall, although there was only a few components, they did a really nice job on them. So why don't we go to the gameplay now. As you saw from the overview, this game is super simple. Play as many cards as you wish on your side to the table to try and beat the other side, or forfeit and take the Psychic card. Even in this simplicity though, you have some really good decisions to be made on almost every turn. Each time it's your turn, you're looking at the cards in your hand. What cards have already been played? How many cards does your opponent have left? And you're trying to make the decision. Is it worth me playing more cards here? How much do they want the token? How much can I get them to whittle down their hand? How much do I want that token? And how good is that Psychic card to me? There seems to be only a few times that my hands were tied. You know, if they're going to go for the winning token, of course you had to go all in. But so often the game felt like a real war of wits, trying to outthink or outmaneuver your opponent. trying to force them to whittle down their cards in their hand, so maybe you're going to get an advantage later on. Now, I'm not saying this is a hugely strategic game that's going to take hours of mind-bending hard thinking to play, but there's almost always something to be thinking about in your turn, and I enjoyed that. Now, if that's all there was to this game, I'd probably be thinking it would be quickly forgotten. I do think one of the pluses of this game is those changing psychic cards from game to game. Now, the ones I showed you in the overview are the starter cards. You know, they're just kind of nice, simple ones. Like you get, it's worth 3. That's pretty straightforward. Or the winner gets to take the psychic card, not the loser of the round. Or all of your even cards are +1. The later cards, though, do get more complicated, and I found kind of more enjoyable. You know, I like the playing dead card, where you take one of your cards back if you lose. Or the Bloody Mary card, where it's a value 6, but you have to discard 2 cards from your hand. Again, it's a little more to think about, but still not overly complicated. I feel, though, which psychic cards you play with the game, you can kind of customize the difficulty. Are you playing with someone younger or maybe new to gaming? Then play with those intro cards. They're easy enough to understand and use. Now, are you playing with someone more experienced? Then randomize all the cards together and kind of see what you get. There are, of course, some downsides to this game. This game is lucky sometimes. Because of a bad draw, you are giving your opponent a big advantage. Getting a bunch of hard cards all together is usually not a good thing. You're strong for a while, but you have to play them. And playing a 5 or your precious 6 on your opponent's 1 card is not good. I always worry about the long-term replayability of this game as well. Even with those negatives though, this game is 10 to 15 minutes long, so it's hard not to enjoy it while it lasts. So would I recommend this game? Yes, if you're looking for a nice, light 2-player game that still gives you plenty to think about during your round, and it still has some randoms to kind of balance out the 2 players, this is definitely one you should check out. Now, I really like the art in this game. I thought the psychic cards really made this game, really brought it together. Without them, the gameplay would have gotten a bit boring. But playing the right psychic card at the right time was just so satisfying. The basic gameplay was enjoyable as I never felt the game was on rails. I was almost always thinking about what I should do. Force my opponent to play just 1 more card. Maybe play my psychic card that makes them play 2 cards. Go for those early tokens to really put them on the back foot and maybe play more aggressively for a few rounds to whittle through their cards. For so simple a game, I did find that most enjoyable. Now, like I said, I do worry about the longevity of this game, mainly because it is so simple and it doesn't offer a lot of strategic decision space. They're almost always tactical decisions. And sometimes you're left with no possible moves, and that just felt like a letdown just because of the randomness, just because of what you had in your hands. You just kind of look at your hands and you kind of know you're not going to have very little chance in this game. But overall, I'm going to give this game 7 out of 10 and the Dice Tower seal of approval. If you're looking for a nice, light 2-player game that has a simple gameplay but doesn't sacrifice player choice, you should definitely check this one out. And that's it for the moment. Until next time, thanks for watching.